Hey, welcome back to another podcast. Finally getting back into the groove here. I am Jason Manchester, and today getting into a little bit of conversation with a friend of mine. We haven't talked in a while. I think we did the first podcast I ever did was with him, Tony Berardo. How you doing, man?
Dude, what is up, man? Good to hear from you again.
It's been a while. So good to have you on today, man, just to kind of BS and get back into it and just to kind of talk about everything that's going on. And there's a lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. This will be fun. It's always good talking to you. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on and taking the time, man. I know you're busy. So
looking good. I love that. I love that camera setup, dude. It looks really good.
Yeah, everything's coming together, man. How's everything up there?
Or down? It's going, man. As you know, we're holding a record now for the most cases. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I heard Florida was pretty bad, but I think it was LA and Texas. I think New York is still up there, but I think now you got Texas and then LA.
Yeah. Yeah. We might have surpassed everybody in good Florida, fashion. It's typically what we do is we like to be the laughing stock of the country. So that's what happens.
So what do y'all do? I mean, y'all just kind of camping out at home or
yeah, man. I mean, we just got back from Utah, which was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were up there for almost a week, helped my mom move up there, and it was a good time, man. It was nice to kind of get out in nature a little bit and experience, different things that we haven't really experienced and kind of get out of the mindset of like COVID and, everything that's going on with the protests and stuff. So just not seeing a building within like 20 miles was pretty cool. It was all mountains and nature and it was fun. So now we're kind of back just getting the swing of things, but we're just staying at home and, play board games every now and again and just, work and Netflix and show and
that's all you can do.
Drink.
We try to get out a little bit, but even just going to the grocery store, it's kind of rough because, if you, I don't know how it is there. I'm assuming it's the same way, but you're supposed to wear a mask anywhere you go. And if you don't, people look at you like you're crazy. And, I get it. I don't always wear my mask, but, I'll admit it, but I don't know. I don't even know what to think anymore about that. I mean, you just hear so many different things. I don't even know what to think. Is it good? Is it bad? I know people, they tell you to wear a mask and you do it, but I don't know. I mean, I just see all these different numbers about cases. It seems that the cases aren't going up, and then you hear places like Florida, like where you're at, where the cases are going up. I mean, you just don't know what to think anymore, Yeah,
and I think the big thing is there's just no direction, because it's so new and it's so different, and every country's dealing with it a lot differently. It's like one of those things where who do we believe? That's the biggest problem. Me and the wife did a podcast the other day, and we talked about this, and I'm going to finish editing it and put it out, but it's like that's the biggest problem is there's no we're not treating this country like a business. We're like, we have the owner of the company, which is like Trump and the president. And then you have like his managers, which are like governors and mayors. But everything that, he says that he gets directly from the CDC gets passed down. And, for years we've been doing it this way where, it goes through the mayors and the governors that get to decide what their state does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of idiotic thinking because, if you're in Georgia and there's a lockdown, 100% lockdown, you can't leave, let's say, but Florida's wide open. Well, now you can have coronavirus and just come to Florida and infect 1,000 people while you're here.
Yeah.
So it's like, ever since we started this thing in March, there's been no clear direction. It's just all over the place. It's like a gumball of, shit show. So I think until we get that under control and we figure out how to, delegate each state the same way and keep everything under control. Because, a lot of the cases that we get here in Florida is not because of, people that live in Florida.
Yeah.
It's typically people that, tourists, people that travel, they come down here because it's, it's a great time of year to come to Florida. They're hanging out in beaches because beaches are open and our governor's kind of being a little bit more laxy-daisy with everything. Mm-hmm. So, if you're in New York and it's like hardcore lockdown and you don't want to go anywhere, just fucking come to Florida. It's open. It's wide open.
I mean, you got, so the people that go down to Florida, I mean, a lot of them are coming from up north. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, from
as they normally do.
Yeah, right. So, and that's where it was a hotbed for it for months. And
yeah,
it don't take but one time to go to the beach with one or two people, and then you're hanging around. There's no telling how many people you're hanging around. So you spread it, and then next thing you know, it's all over the place. So I don't know.
And it spreads. Anyway. I mean, it's not. It doesn't surprise me that we have the most cases in the country, because this time of year we're the most popular state from a tourist standpoint to go to. Yeah. Like Florida's the spot this time of year. I mean, this is summer. This is the perfect time to be in Florida. So it doesn't surprise me that we have more cases, but it's not because of the, 50-year-old folks that are going to Publix. It's because of the people that are coming here. So, but again, that's our governor and mayor's issue, where we should have done a little bit something, at the airports, maybe checking people as they come in. There could have been a lot of stuff that could be done, but unfortunately, we're at the point where most of the country just looks at the stuff and says, like the mask, you said it, where, I don't wear my mask all the time too, but when I'm in public, I do, just because I want to respect, other people. But, it's like some of these people still have this mindset of, if I have to wear a mask, you're imposing on my freedoms. I
mean, I don't take it that far. I don't do it, but I mean, I do. I have worn my mask to the grocery store.
A lot of people do, though.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. But I just think that's people taking it too far. I had a conversation today with somebody. It's people wake up in the morning looking for some reason to complain about something. It's like, how can I just mess somebody's day up? What can I get mad about for no reason today? And then they'll go on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and they'll put this rant on there about something that just is, it's absurd. But that's what we're living in today. That's our world, man. It's what can I complain about? Yeah.
Yeah. It's a thing. And, it's not going to get to a point where I think it's going to get any better. And, that sucks because, jobs like mine dictate off of mass gathering and events and things like that. So, there's a lot of issues that could be caused, not just with people losing their jobs, like restaurants, bars, et cetera, but, because there's a 20% population, let's say, that doesn't want to wear a mask. Yeah. Well, now we continue to spread this virus. So now that's going to affect the other 80% of people that are doing the right things. So it's like, we either need to go all in on this thing, or just let everybody get immune to it and see what happens. Yeah. There might be more people that dies, but the president just needs to go, all right, guys, no more masks. We're good. Let's just see how this thing's go.
Yeah. And then, I think we just need to they need to do something. Somebody needs to make a call. I mean, I know it's easy for us to sit here and say that because we've been practically quarantined, since March,
right.
And it's worse for some people because they don't have jobs. They've lost their jobs. We have a job, and we're complaining because we just can't get out into, society very much. So, but I mean, the bad thing too is that we're in I'll just call it August. We're at the middle of July, but a few more months, we're going to be rolling into the fall and into the winter, when flu season kicks up. So, now now you got to worry about the flu. Now you got to worry about this because it's not going anywhere, obviously. Or maybe in November, they'll say that it never existed. It was just a big ploy
for elections.
That's right. So, but to be honest with you, I mean, it wouldn't bother me one bit if they did that,
but I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I just want it all to end, man. I want us to be able to go do whatever we want to. And I just don't want, I'm tired of, it's like people are so scared to do everything, and I get that, but it's just, I'm so ready for people to get back to just being normal and being able to go out and, even, with all our close friends, like with Monster and everything, it was just like you see somebody, you want to give somebody a hug, man, or, a handshake or something. People have gotten away from that. You can't do that anymore. It sucks.
I mean, we even have our, meeting that got postponed, our annual meeting. Yeah. So now that's going to be virtual. But, in Florida, we were even planning on doing something where all the employees in Florida, we're going to meet up like in Orlando.
Right.
And we're going to kind of watch our virtual annual meeting that we do. But we can't even do that now, because Florida's such a hotbed. We were told from leadership only 2 to 4 people in a room at a time.
Yeah, so, I think, it's going to be a tough call, man. I don't know. It's a weird situation. Here's my take on it is the biggest issue I think that we run into is in a situation like this, it's really starting to
open everyone's eyes on a lot of stuff. And this could be a political thing. And, we could definitely say, I think the majority rules says that the big reason why we have a lot of these cases is because of the protest. I know no one wants to say it, but that's just a fact. You have these mass gatherings. A lot of people are out exchanging sweat, spitting on cops. I mean, it's bound to happen that this thing spreads. So that was the worst time, unfortunately, to do these. I know circumstances caused that we thought it was the right thing to do, and a lot of people went out for good reason. But at the end of the day, we should have been quarantined. So that's number one, is the protests were a big issue. That helped spread it. Number two is, I think we're starting to realize that the job of a president is very difficult, and I don't think one person should do it.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said, I mean, I've been saying this for years, where I think there should be like 7 presidents, and you do 7 because it's an odd number. So voting would be easy, but like one president runs, world relations, climate change. One president runs, maybe economic growth, trade deals, things like that. One president deals with poverty and housing. Like, each president has like a responsibility, but they have the same title, president. So they're not one president's in charge, because it's a difficult job, man.
Yeah.
And I don't think that we're doing this thing the right way, and we just got to change it, because, you could see like this was not that big of a deal if you look at it from like a broader standpoint. I mean, it's just a virus.
Right.
What if like there was a massive terrorist attack, not ISIS, but like massive 25,000 people? One dude has to decide what every single state does. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. If you have that many people in charge, I mean, what are you going to do when, everybody's going to want to overstep somebody's bounds? Somebody's going to want to control this. Somebody's going to want to control that. Somebody's want to put their opinion in on this. Next thing you know, you have the situation of, just like you have now, you have people, they just don't disagree. Now you could possibly have 4 people against 3 or 5 people against 2. So but at least it's a vote. Like, that's my big issue with the whole thing is, this was okay in 1776. Yeah.
When we had 300,000 people in the country. Right. We have 333 million people, I think, now in the U.S. So not only is it a popularity contest when you need to be, like Kanye West now is running for president. He might win just because it's a joke. Like, it's a popularity contest.
That would be a joke. I mean,
yeah, it'd be a joke. But I mean, listen, I voted for Trump just because I thought he would be, and, I think he's done a lot, for the country. But at the same time, the things that he puts into place, he'll put into place. And then if a Democrat gets elected, everything he did was for nothing. So we only have a short amount of time that, it hit, like Obama. He did a lot of stuff, and Obamacare, obviously, there was
there's a lot of issues in that.
There's a lot.
I don't want to get into that. But there's a lot of it. There's a lot of people that went broke.
A ton. I mean, but again, he had it for 8 years. He worked on it, and then we had it, and then now we don't. Now we're working to get rid of it. So it's like, what was the point of having Obama then? Everything he did would be eradicated, and that happens every single time we have an election.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you think about it, and it's always go back and forth. It always goes Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican. Like, think about it. Go down the line. You got Bush, right? And then you got Obama, and then you got Trump, and then, maybe Trump gets reelected. Great. And then after that, maybe it'll be a Democrat. So it's like, it's this back and forth. Like, we need to get rid of the 2-party system. We need to get rid of, Congress making the decisions. The president puts in a bill, and then if it doesn't get voted on by a group of guys and gals that have no clue what the fuck is going on in the country, who are they to say? Like, we the people should decide, and we should vote on everything. Like, if Aunt Jemima gets removed from a bottle, we should vote on that. It should not be like a petition.
Yeah, but where does that?
You know what I mean?
Why is and to be honest with you, I really hate to get into this stuff, but it's like, what does that have to do with anybody? Well, I mean, I can't for the life of me figure out how you can go to a box of pancakes and that's going to offend you because of a name on it. They don't want that changed, and why change it? What is it? I mean, I don't understand how that messes with somebody's mind that bad. I get the whole racist, the reality of racism. But now this, like, they're getting down to, they're really getting down in the weeds with names and, the pro sports, everybody's changing their names now. And
Redskins are out.
Yeah. They're wanting to, change the names of things on boxes. And next thing I don't know. It's crazy.
That's the world we're living in. That's the problem with, it's a majority of people, and we need to stop doing things this way because we're training society to, all you got to do is just get a group of people together, sign a petition, and, things will be changed and laws will be removed, and it's madness. It's anarchy. So again, this is why I say, okay, so all this stuff, Confederate statues are getting taken down, and, words are being put into the dictionary, and whether you believe in that or not, that's okay. You could believe in that stuff, but the fact that a small percentage of the population gets to dictate that is crazy.
Yeah.
And then we have one president that should be in charge of changing these things, but it's not up to him.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about it, is it should be up to him, right? But unless we're like communist China, because we have our freedoms, we feel as Americans that if the president told us not to take down a Confederate Confederate statue, that's imposing on our freedoms. So it's like, what is he doing up there then? What is he going to do if he puts together a bill and Congress doesn't like it? We don't pass it as law. So what's his job?
Man,
to be the poster child of the country?
Basically,
it's madness.
It's
madness. So it makes no sense.
You know what? It's the world we live in. It's how, I know they say, every vote counts, and it does, and I vote. But I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see where the country is right now. It just is.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with speaking your mind and standing up for what you believe in. But to me, there's so many things that are being put out there now that people want to complain about, and they want to be noticed as, and another topic that I don't want to go down is transgender and all these different types of way people want to be identified is insane. I don't understand where that comes from and why people are so worried about it. When it was just a man and a woman, that's what you were. You're female and you're male. If you want to be a male, if you're a male and want to be a female, go do it. I don't care. It's up to you. It's your life. I'm not going to judge you, or vice versa. I don't care if you want to. If female want to be a male want to be a female. However you want to do it. But you just classify you were born as a male. If you want to be classified as a female, then you just say you want to be classified as a female and leave it at that. Yeah. I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with that. But that's where you draw the line, though. I mean, there is not all these other different names for human beings. It's just not.
Yeah. Well, and you nailed it. It's like, we have a certain way of doing things, and unfortunately, a large amount of people dictate on what makes sense. So we're creating this. It's a new word. We created a new word and a new genre of people that scientifically doesn't exist yet. Maybe it'll exist down the road. I don't know.
I see you as a dude, man. That's what I see.
and even if I wasn't, right, it doesn't matter what I think I am.
I don't care.
Right?
Doesn't none of that stuff has ever bothered me. The whole, whichever way you roll has never bothered me. I've never judged anybody because of that. I was brought up in a way you just accept people and you're done with it. I don't cause a. That's just me. That's how I am. Yeah. I don't waste my time.
The problem is there's a large amount of people that are telling us how we should see other people, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the issue, is like, if you tell me, hey, Tony, I want to identify as
a dog,
a turtle, I'm going to say, all right, dude, that's cool. But I'm not going to call you a turtle.
A ninja turtle, but not a.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to call you that. Like, if you want to be that, that's fine. But I'm not going to say, hey, turtle, get over here. I'm going to say, hey, Jason, get over here. Like, you can't tell me what to.
That's like people wanting to marry their car and shit like that. Have you seen that stuff?
Yeah, man.
You seen that? They have like they have documentaries on that stuff where people like fall in love with their cars. I saw some dude wanting to marry his car, and it's just weird.
The best thing is, you ever see Dragon Lady?
I don't know if I have or not.
Like when you get some time, just Google Dragon Lady, and she actually like changed her name and installed horns teeth, tattoos all over her face, like looks like scales.
Yeah.
She got all these surgeries, and she looks like a dragon, like a legit dragon, and she thinks she's a dragon.
I've seen a guy. I saw a guy. I don't even know what show it was. I saw a guy that did that. He wanted to be a lizard, so he went and he did the tattoo on his face. And then he did the same thing, something with his eyebrows or something like, or his forehead, where he did some kind of surgery. I don't know, implants or something, where it was kind of, had the ripple effect to it. But then he went and had his tongue split so that it looked like a snake. Maybe it was a snake is what he wanted to be. I don't know, one of those two. But he split it right down the middle, like so far. So he had his tongue was split.
Looked like a lizard, yeah.
Yeah. So whenever he stuck his tongue out, that shit like divided. It was weird, man. Some weird.
And dude,
shit.
Maybe there's a group of people that are like reptiles, but we're not going to create like a genre of that, are we? Like, is that going to be on the medical form now? Like male, female, unidentified, and then reptile? Like, no,
there's like 20 boxes you got to read through to find out which one's yours.
That's crazy. There should only be one, and it should be either American or non-American. Because if you're non-American, then,
they
need to figure some stuff out.
That's it. Last time I went to the doctor, that's what I had to do. I had to read through all the different boxes to figure out which one, make sure I did the right one.
Dude, I talked to my buddy the other day because he heard one of my last podcasts, and he's like, "Yo, dude, I agree with you, but I never say it out loud because he's black, and he's like, some of my other black friends think, I don't like." I'm not proud to be black because he doesn't identify himself as African American.
Right.
Because he's not African, he's Jamaican.
Right.
But like on a form that you fill out,
he's got to put that.
If you're black, you put African American, but that doesn't make any sense though.
Yeah, but don't they have a line or something that says, don't they have something that says other or something?
Yeah.
I mean, you like cover the whole scale, but then they have other. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you want to identify as a Jamaican American, I mean, that's what you should do. I mean, if I should be able to identify myself as American Indian, American Indian, German, Polish, whatever. I mean, because that's most of what I have right now that runs through me. But I don't do that. I don't. It's just like I say, like. My wife used to catch me every now and then because I say, yeah, I'm American. And she goes, well, so am I. She's from Honduras. And I was going, It took me a minute, but she's right. Because she goes, well, what America what America are you from? And I was like, North America. She goes, yeah, why don't people say they're North American? Because I'm not from North America. She's from Honduras, Central America.
Central America,
yeah, and
that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a real good point.
So a lot of people identify. They go, yeah, I'm from South America, I'm from Central America, but we don't say we're from North America. We just say we're American. As the United States, when you're United States, if you were born and raised here, people say you're American, and that's
correct.
So in reality, if you want to push that envelope, it's that's not how it is. It's I'm from North America. From the United States.
What if we started bitching and complaining on social media about that? It would eventually get changed.
Yeah, I think I'm going to ask to be called American Indian, German, Polish when you address me from now on. So that's what I am.
What's wild, but dude, here's what's wild is I was thinking about this the other day, where the only reason we have to fill that shit out on forms is like an extremely old tradition that we filled out when there was racism and we segregated blacks and whites. Yeah. Because you wanted, when you filled those out, you wanted the businesses, wherever you went, where's the doc's office or whatever, but they want to know whether or not the person was white or black or another ethnicity.
All right.
But we don't have to do that anymore. Like when you go to a doctor's office, why does it matter what, like your diagnosis is not going to be different based off your ethnicity or skin color.
All right.
Like, why do we do that now? We do it because we're stuck in the old.
Yeah, I think it's just I just think I don't know. I don't know why they still do that. I don't know why we do a lot of things we still do. I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's because It's because a lot of people are wasting time. Like these people out here that are preaching about Aunt Jemima and all that. That's fine. You do what you want to do, but that's not going to solve anything. What's going to solve something is getting rid of those forms, taking ethnicity and gender off that if you want. But that's how you make change. You don't make change by these little micro wins. Yeah. Because that's what we're trying to do is create these little stupid micro wins. And all that's doing is getting you famous for a second. And that's what people love is...
You've heard it before. I mean, when you stop calling somebody black and somebody white, somebody yellow or whatever color you want to call them, I mean, why does that matter? Well, it shouldn't matter. I mean, that gets into the whole racial thing, but it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. I mean, I know you and I aren't like that, but in general, that's what people classify other people as, is by the color of their skin, and that's what everybody's trying to get away from. Is not doing that. But collectively, everybody's got to make that choice to try to stop putting them in that category. Anybody. And when I say them, I mean anybody, not any race. It's anybody. So, until everybody starts looking at somebody and just looks at them for who they are, what they are, as far as what type of person, it's just never going to end. It's just going to be a battle forever. Yeah,
man. I think a lot of it has to do with the, the education system too, how we're brought up as well. I mean, that's a big, again, that's the issue here, right? Is this what I was trying to say with all the different presidents? I know it's kind of far fetched, but what'd be crazy is if you had one dude that's in charge of the educational system, because one person can't because you can list, and the president probably has this list of things that he wants to accomplish. But that's just not enough for one person to do. And of course you could say, well, there's a Secretary of State and there's this and there's that. Yeah, but if the Secretary of State, wants to make a change or wants to make a military strategy or a move, he has to shoot that up to the president. And then the president has to decide that. And then he pitches it to everyone else. So it still goes up to one guy. So if you had multiple people with the same authority and same position in their own specific job titles, like you would run a business, like how we run Monster. You got Rain, you got the brand team, you got, Emily that's in charge of North America, you got the directors of VP. Like you got to have these decisions where people can make their own shit, because you can fix the education system in a lot of different ways, but Trump's never going to worry about that. That's not his main. That's not going to get him reelected. He knows what's going to get him reelected.
I don't think there's a lot of people that really care about that. And to me, that's one of the top things that needs to be addressed in the country.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, we shouldn't have to pay for school, and I mean, we pay for school right now, and we shouldn't have to. I don't think anybody should, but I think you should be able to have a school that you go to where you get a good education.
Totally.
And not have to worry about, whether or not you're going to make it out alive or not. Or, look, there's going to be bullying and stuff. I'm not a believer in, I hate the whole bully thing, but when you get a bunch of kids together, somebody's going to bully to some point, right?
Yeah.
And obviously you want to keep that down to a minimum. But what's scary is when you have schools that you have your kids go to and you have to worry whether or not they're going to be safe when they go. And you shouldn't have to worry about that type of stuff. And, teachers are not getting paid what they need to get paid. And I think, and this is my opinion, I just think that in the school system, the balance is off as far as who runs the school. Mm-hmm. The students run the school now in majority of places. Yeah. They do what they want to do, and nobody can do anything about it. You can't discipline them anymore. You can't say anything wrong to them, or you lose your job. Principals are like presidents. They're like the head of, it's a business and they're the head of it, but they have no say. I mean, they can go down and tell you, hey, you can't do that or else. And it's, it goes in one ear out the other. And I'm throwing a blanket statement out there, but I guarantee you somebody could hear this and know that there's schools out there. They know, and wherever they're listening to it, they know that that's the case. And until they reverse that and put that back to where the people run the school that are supposed to and make you go to school to get your education, and that's what you're there for. Obviously, you want to go. You're out there and you're hanging out with your buddies and all that. That's all. You're supposed to enjoy it. But when you have people in class interrupting class because they don't care about the school. They don't care about the education. It's the way they're brought up, so they interrupt everything. That causes everybody else not to be able to learn, right? Mm-hmm. So until they get that back into balance in like the public school systems, I mean, it's just it's a bad situation, man. And that's across the United States. That's in no certain state. That's not just in this. And I'm not saying this to pigeonhole anybody. But it's not just in certain places of Georgia or Mississippi or Alabama or Tennessee. It's across the United States. Everywhere you can find schools, you go, I'm not living there. It's where I live. There, the public school system is just, it's awful. That's why they have private schools.
And the reason that is because governors and mayors are in charge of that, and there's no accountability.
Yeah.
Like there's no nationwide template because, we're relying on, these folks to make the best decisions. But, again, everything needs to go in the hands of the people. We should vote on everything. There's a cool documentary that Zac Efron did that Brent and I were watching. And one of the episodes was in Costa Rica, and he visits this island in Costa Rica.
I saw that. We just finished watching that. The whole thing. You
did?
Yeah, we've watched all of them.
So what they did with the school system is very hippie-like, but it makes total sense.
Yep. Yeah, me and my wife looked at each other and were like,
that makes total sense.
Want to move to Costa Rica?
Makes total sense. But then it's like, okay, so who would make that move? Who would make that call?
Yeah, it'd be tough. I think it'd be tough to do here just because I don't know.
Maybe.
Why.
But dude,
I think there's too many people. There's too many people. I mean, the way they learn, it's weird to us because we're not used to that type of stuff because they had no homework. Right. They really had no set. It wasn't regimented, right? So, but they also didn't pressure them on. You know what? The kid. She was how old was she? She was like 12.
6 years old.
The girl that knew like 3 languages.
6.
That knew all the languages, and they asked her what 12. She wanted to or why she liked it so much, and she said because I dictate where I'm going to end up in life or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get to pick where I'm going, and this is the way, or something to that effect. As she said that she wanted to, she was able to pick where she was going, and she could dictate that. Nobody else was.
It's not far fetched because the food pyramid. You remember that? When we were kids?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was passed down to every single school in the world.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say the world, probably the country, because Europe changed that a little bit differently, but that was passed down. So the education system, the books that we read, every state usually has the same books. Like what you learn in Georgia is probably what you're going to learn in Florida. It might be taught differently, but in terms of the book and the content, like it's not like one's going to have George Washington in it and the other one's not. So there is a lesson plan that they follow. They could easily pass down one specific thing to every single public school. It's possible. Yeah, it might be a lot of work, but if it's going to help the youth, down the road, even if it's, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I mean, it's possible.
Well,
so things could change. It's just a lot of work.
They have a certain way that they want schools to learn now, and it's across everywhere. I mean, they have... and
it's more political than anything.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at how they learn math now, it's not just 24 plus 12. You have to break out all these numbers to see, how did you get the 4? How did you get the 2 and the 1 and the 2 and convert all those? And then next thing you know, you got a page full of math just to get the answer of 26. It's weird. I mean, my second grader brought stuff home and he asked me that. He was like, he goes, I don't understand this one. I'm like,
I don't know.
I looked at it and I was like, did she send something home? And she didn't. And I'm like, well, this is the answer. He goes, that's not how you get that. I said, yeah, you do. You just add the numbers together. Well, that's not how we do it. I was like, well, how in the hell do you add the numbers together? I didn't say how. I said, how do you add the numbers together?
Yeah.
And he showed me some other work, and I was like, no. I said, add this up. Just add that up. And my wife was like, that's not how they do it. I said, just add it up. Let me handle the rest. I'll email the teacher and just tell her. So she sent something home to show how they did it. And I couldn't understand where they went wrong. And I'm going to tell you it's wrong because 2 plus 2 is 4. I don't care how you break it out. And in life, that's all you need to know is that 2 plus 2 equals 4. Now Now, if you get into some serious, serious math, if you're in like science and NASA and all that, and you have all these formulas and stuff, I get that. But when you got to do regular math, or you just got to do regular stuff to measure something, you're building a house, nobody got time to break stuff out to figure out, the square footage of a floor or a room, to figure out how much flooring you need. They don't want to see all that. They just want to, you give me the answer. What's the square footage? Give me the answer,
One, and I think that's a good point too. Kevin Hart actually is doing something with Chase Bank, which was pretty interesting. Chase Financing Solutions or something like that, and he's doing something where he teaches youth in poor neighborhoods where there's some type of funding involved. I forget what it's called. Damn, it's going to kill me because I was just looking it up because I thought it was really interesting. But he's doing it to where he'll teach the youth of like 10 years old and up how to save money, real estate, talk about mortgage, interest rates, APRs, like about very complex, high-tech stuff at a very young age because schools aren't teaching that. So, I think it'd be really interesting to have, middle schools and high schools start teaching about saving money, bank accounts,
real life stuff,
checking
man.
accounts.
Yeah, I mean, real life stuff.
Yeah. Because there's not one thing that I remember right now, and memory is a weird thing because you forget things and it's there, but I just can't access it because I'm not smart enough. But I don't remember anything from school.
Yeah. Well,
Nothing.
I mean, I remember some things. I remember all the sports I played. I remember that, but that doesn't get me anywhere.
Well, let me rephrase. I don't remember anything that I use on a daily basis today.
Right. Yeah. But so it's
no math equation. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think it's good if they have like a certain curriculum it's a basic one. Like if you want to learn history, so they should teach the history, I don't think it should be something where you have to have 5 years of history in order to pass to graduate. I don't think, should you have to know the history in order to pass school to move on with the rest of your life? I don't think so. You learn a lot of history as you move on through school. And then when you get out of school, I think if you have a couple that you want to do, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Like say you got to have to take 2 years of history, or obviously math is important. English is super important. You got to have, different levels of English, but I think they should incorporate things like
that we use.
Yeah. Like, what is it like to buy a house? What is it like to buy a car? What is it like if you have, credit cards? What happens if you're in 10,000 in debt, 20,000 in debt, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 in debt, which is a commonplace across the United States, what do you do? What's options? What is real life about? And I don't think it's a bad idea to do stuff like that.
Yeah. And also, if you want to go to college, if that's one of your goals, there should be education, especially as you get closer to high school, maybe like freshman year, where if you want to go to college, you start creating maybe something that is partnering up with that public school system. Yeah. And we stop privatizing colleges, and it's a government-based program or something, however they want to do it. But there's a way where we educate kids on either going to college or not going to college. And what that means if you go to college, that means either your parents are paying for you, you're getting for a scholarship, or you got to save up for college. And if you don't, you're going to be in debt, because that's what...
Yeah, I think there's too much put on... I think there's too much put on college. I think there's too much put on
for sure
on having that piece of paper in your hand. Is it good? Yeah, absolutely. College is good for you. Yeah. If you want to continue your learning, absolutely. But I think you should be made aware of what kind of debt you're going to go into if you don't get that paid for. But I also don't think it's fair to go out and say you have to have a degree in order to get a job. There's plenty of people that don't have degrees that are super successful. There's plenty of people that would deserve to have certain positions with a company because they're smart enough to have that position. Now, you may have to train them a little bit, but that goes with, it doesn't matter how many degrees you got. You're going to have to be trained at some point. Even with the company we work for, or any other job you've had, when you get promoted based on what you've done previously. But when you step into that job, you may not know that job 100%. You have to go in there, and there's going to be things that you have to be taught, because there's things that you haven't, messed around with previously. So you might have, the natural progression, say you're in this position and you're going to move up to the next one. That's the natural progression, is let's move Tony up here. to this manager position because he did so well here. But a lot of the things that you did, might incorporate into that position, but there could be, 10% of that job is going to be stuff that you're going to run into that you've never seen before. And that's what you're going to get trained on. But that goes across any job, anywhere, any corporation. The majority of times when you move up or you go into a position, you don't know what the hell you're doing until somebody trains you, period. And it doesn't have to do with having a piece of paper, because I've seen people come out into the job that I've been in for a long time, in the side of the business that I've been in, come out of college with a degree and don't know shit about what I'm doing or know how to do it and doesn't care about it and end up quitting because they don't get it, or it's too tough.
And and that goes back to things always ever need they need to continuously evolve in that space, because, college, when our parents were going to high school, made sense.
Yeah.
But now it necessarily doesn't. And even still, as technology continues to evolve and change, which it's going to keep changing, obviously. But, I'm hoping by the time, I have kids and they, become, I don't know, 13, 14, 15 years old, where they can actually start being a little bit more open-minded to the future. Yeah. I'd love to see some type of courses in school, and just in high school and middle school, about like coding, maybe
just learn
virtual
coding.
reality.
Just code.
Yeah. Learning code. Yeah. Learning code.
What podcast? What was that? I saw that on someone said, just learn the code, or somebody got offended by that or something. I can't remember what it was, but
there's a whole movement on Twitter about it, but that should be like a mandatory thing, in my opinion.
Well, nowadays, the world's progressed so much. I mean, coding at one time was, it was, if you could do it, you could bank some cash, and not that you can't now, but the thing is, it's so widespread. They should make it something that's, it should be something that you have to do. It's almost like taking English,
or at least maybe a course offered that you can take. Like chemistry is a course that you can choose to take if you want to continue to. So I took chemistry and I took biology because I was interested in that type of stuff and still am. Yeah. But if you're not into that, you could do arts, you could do crafts, whatever, but there's no tech side as in depth. But what's interesting about that too is, we go back to that is, so who's teaching that type of stuff? Yeah. You don't want a normal teacher that gets paid a shitty salary because they're not going to teach the proper things.
But it also costs money. It costs money because you have to supply all the stuff that you need in order to teach that stuff. I mean, exactly. I know that firsthand because the school that our son goes to, we just they just went up on tuition because they just bought a bunch of new stuff. But they have the tech, I don't know if it's a tech department or whatever. They just have a bunch of computers, nice computers like Macs and all that kind of stuff. So they're learning, on equipment and computers and whatever. They're learning on all the systems that are like current, which is good.
As you should. But it's like, Full Sail does a great job with that, in Orlando, Florida. And here's what's going to blow your mind. So I was thinking about this the other day because I have a friend of mine. She's going to be on the podcast here the next few weeks, but she's actually going to be an astronaut. So she's been working I went to middle school and high school with this girl. She's been working her entire life to be part of NASA and SpaceX. So now she's going to be a part of that. So I was kind of picking her brain a little bit. And, of course, she probably won't get into space. That obviously takes a lot more qualifications and stuff. So that's her goal. But she's working at NASA and she's working some of the departments. And I was just telling her, I was like, how did you do this? And she's walking me through, because, I went to school with her. Mm-hmm. So it's not, I know she didn't learn everything she needed to know to be in NASA in high school.
Yeah.
But so what's crazy is, so after that, so she committed her life to internships and research that she wasn't getting education on, and she wasn't getting obviously paid for. Yeah. But what's crazy is, imagine like someone like her or like an Elon Musk. Imagine if we actually educated more people how these people educated themselves. We would have more Tesla companies. We would have more Apple companies. We would have more of these things that, we need and like and enjoy. And because these people thought of this shit on their own.
Yeah, I think
like no one.
I've always thought that you should get figure out what you want to do. So if you want to go, I don't know, whatever, just computers or whatever, or say you want to learn how to build websites. That's what you want to do for a living. Okay, If you go to school, that's what you should go to school for. You shouldn't have 2 years of math and history and science and all that stuff. The only thing you should have to take are the courses that prepare you to go into the business that you want to go into. And when you get your degree, that's what you get your degree in. You know, when you go to be a doctor, now I'm assuming you have to have, you definitely got to have your Englishes and your maths and all. And there's a lot of things that you have to have all that stuff. And I get that. And, you know, you have to go through the chemistry and the calculus, probably, I don't know, all that stuff to be a doctor. And you got 8 years of it, but there's a good reason why you have to have that. Cause you got, in some cases, you have people's lives in your hands, right?
Totally.
So
that makes sense.
I get that. But if you have people that want to go build cars for a living, why do you have to sit in school for 4 years and 2 years of that or longer, or learning, you know, all these things that you shouldn't have to learn? You shouldn't have to learn history. You shouldn't have to go take 2-3 years of history to go build a car. Yeah.
Well, you know, and that's a big reason why China is ahead of us from the tech side, is because they teach their kids a lot younger than we teach ours about, you know, new technologies and they're smarter than us. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
They're so smart that even, I think it was Harvard or Stanford, started denying Asian people. Did you hear about that?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was like a couple years ago.
Racist.
I think super racist. Yeah. But, you know, of course they labeled it as like, you know, there was too many people. They didn't label them as a specific, but it was only those people that were getting denied. Yeah. But that's what's so crazy, is because we needed to do that to that population so we can have the leg up, instead of buckling down and educating, you know, Americans on important stuff.
I think they need to be tougher in high school on the curriculum that gets you into college. That way you don't have to spend as much time in college. So like, I know you can take entrance exams and stuff.
Figuring stuff out.
Yeah, so I think if
college, like figuring it out.
Yeah, so I think if you take this entrance exam, your math, your English, and all that stuff, then I think you should be able to, you skip all that stuff going into college. So you take only the courses that you need, right? Only the things that you're going into job wise, right? So if you want to be a history major, you know, you study history, right? If you want to be a math teacher, obviously you got to know everything about your math. So it's just, I think people are kept in college for too long, and that's what amounts to that debt that we were talking about. When you have kids that go out and it takes them 10, 12 years to pay off, you know, $100,000 worth of debt or whatever it is. I don't know what it is now, to go to school for 4 or 5 years, but it's not cheap.
A lot.
So,
by the way, sorry, as you were talking, I looked that up. So it was Harvard. Harvard denies engaging in discrimination and says that its philosophy complies with the law. The school said that the percentage of Asian American students admitted has grown from 17 to 21% in a decade, while Asian Americans represent around 6% of the population. So they denied it, but records show. I mean, they went to this was back in 2019, but yeah, they took Harvard to court. Why Asian American students lost their case against Harvard. Wow. What you should know. Yeah, people need to look that up. Forbes put out a really cool article, but it's just so interesting that we just don't, yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't give people the tools they need to be passionate. So when they get out of high school or they get out of college, they turn to, you know, drugs or partying, or because you don't have motivation to get out and do
how many people,
what you want.
How many people go get a degree and don't use their degree?
Tons of people,
you know.
I'd probably say the large majority of Americans do that.
Yeah, and what's sad is I know people that actually go to get like basic education, so like general education degrees or just basic degrees, so they can come out and say they have a piece of paper, you know?
That's it.
I mean, it's not a master's degree. It's not, you know, there's people that go get their masters in certain things and that's what they pursue, but there's a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that just graduate and they're not even working in that area. There's just, they just got it to get it.
And I mean, that changes too, right? Like, I mean, it might be, you know, maybe 10 years down the road, maybe college is going to be beneficial again, but as of now.
Yeah. And I'm not saying it's not beneficial. I think there's people that should go to college. They have a reason to go to college, you know, to pursue certain things. I just think it's, I think it penalizes the people that are capable of doing jobs that shouldn't have to go to college just to learn how to do it. If they already know how to build a computer, why do you need to go to college to learn how to build a computer?
Listen, man, I'm a strong believer in college, but I do not believe in the system at all. I don't believe in.
Yeah, I think it could be fixed for sure.
Yeah,
I think the cost
again,
is insane.
It might be important in some aspects to actually have a degree, and get a job and have a degree there. But the fact that you would get that job and then spend most of your life paying back that debt is not worth it. You'd be better off working at McDonald's getting paid $45,000 a year because that's going in your pocket, as opposed to $50,000 or $60,000 a year, and then 25 of it is going to the government.
Yeah,
it's
working at McDonald's after you get a degree.
Dude, because at least you're making that money. It's 100% yours. You don't have to pay anybody.
And like I said, I'm not saying college isn't good. I think it's good that it's there. I think it's insane how much you got to pay to make it through college.
We change it.
Yeah. And I think that there's people that I think we hold too much to the degree portion of it. You know,
and that's one of those things that we could easily change. We could, but you know, it's okay. So fossil fuels and how we, you know, how we make cars, how we the factory farming we do, agriculture, all that stuff can easily be changed, but it's gonna make our country lose a lot of money. A lot of jobs are going to be at risk, and it's going to take a lot more work to convert all that stuff to change it. But we choose not to do it. There's other places that do different things.
A lot of countries
that are better for the environment.
Clean.
Yeah, but we choose not to do it because we're so stuck on this high horse of like, we're American and, you know, American this and Ford, you know, cars and, you know, this is how we're going to do it. And nuclear plants.
It's on that documentary Down to Earth, you know?
Yeah.
When they, I don't know what country was that they went to. It was like
Iceland.
Yeah, Iceland. So
Iceland.
It was
incredible.
Super clean, you know, the way they
so crazy.
Produced energy and all that kind of stuff. So, you know,
I was really impressed with that documentary. We haven't finished it yet, but I'm very impressed how that was done would be the type of style I would want us to do ours.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. We finished it last night. So, and that's kind of what I was thinking was pretty, I like the way it was done for sure. I think it was well documented, well filmed. Just everything just flowed good. And, of course it doesn't hurt to have, Zac Efron, you know, walking through the streets.
I think that helped. Yeah, that's the only reason, because I knew what it was about. Like, I kind of assumed it was like Anthony Bourdain meets like, you know, What the Health.
Yep.
That was kind of what I was picturing, and that's kind of what it ended up being. And I didn't sell that to my wife because I knew she wouldn't watch it. Yeah. So all I told my wife was Zac Efron running around different countries with the shirt off.
With the shirt off,
she watched it.
Yeah. My wife was like, when he was like, well, I don't know, I don't want to ruin it for you because it was the last show, so I won't ruin it for you. But anyway, I just know my wife made a comment, and I was like, oh, jeez, man. I mean, dude is good looking. It's like, good, you know, it's insane. I mean, he shouldn't be let loose out there.
I did think of you because last night we watched the episode of Italy, which was incredible just to see how people are centenarians and live to be over 100. Yeah. And the blue zone.
Yep.
So that we really need to look into for ours because that's super interesting. That's the first time I heard about it.
Yeah, I actually did a podcast with she's a chef up in New York, name's Julia, and she touched on that, talked about the blue zone in different areas. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
How it affects the health or the areas. The blue zones are, you know, it just the healthy people that are in that area, you know, that dictate the blue zone, you know, and how it does that, and how people live to be, you know, 100 plus. Yeah. And, you know, their diets from beginning to end, man, it's crazy. And, you know, it's the thing is people don't realize that it does play into, you know, how long you live. I mean, it's documented right there, you know. Fast food ain't the way to get it done, man. And you're right. But it was super interesting that it did that. What I thought was funny is how they came up with the blue zone.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know,
that was cool.
Yeah. I won't say anything in case anybody does listen and watches it, but it's funny.
It's a good show. Yeah, you just need to watch the show.
It was excellent. I like the way it was done too. I agree. I was thinking when I was watching it the whole time, that's kind of the way I would like to have it shot and done. But I kind of wanted to rethink about how we did things, and kind of how we wanted to approach it too, So
we need to do like a nice little storyboard or something and put some stuff together. So that's a whole nother.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother topic.
It'll take a while, but it's gonna take a while to do. But whenever we can get started on it. So, but
this whole COVID shit didn't help our process, but
no, but it could play into what we want to do. I mean, it could have some it could be some interesting facts that come out due COVID and for the diet. So how you eat,
absolutely.
So how you take care of yourself, because obviously it affects people that aren't healthy. So and obese people, it does affect obese people differently. Yeah,
that's a big thing that we'll touch base on, especially with this and the whole factory farming thing and Wuhan and meat markets and dude, we need to touch base on all that stuff. So
cool.
It might work out to our benefit. That sucks. We can't get out and videotape stuff, but hopefully we'll get there.
Well, it'll all break, and the thing is to just plan it and get ready for for the time to come. So it's gonna get here. We just got to be a little bit more patient, and it sucks because we've been still practically quarantined, like I said, but it just takes a little bit of time. So but we'll get there. I got faith.
That's it, man.
But anyway, man, it's good to talk, as always.
For sure.
So it's been a while. This is my first one in quite a while. Been so busy, but
yeah, man. No, I'm looking forward to seeing yours some more, and I'm going to post another one here this weekend. Me and the wife did, and that was my first one in a couple of weeks. So it's kind of weird to get back and get used to the mics and the headsets and speaking. So I'm excited, man. I'm looking forward to it. So we need to make this like either monthly or every 6 weeks. We need to do something.
Either way, just talk about whatever. It's all good, man. I mean, I'm open to however you want to do it.
Yeah, man. Enjoy. We'll talk soon.
All right. We'll see you. Hey, well, there you have it. Tony Berardo. Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. As usual, it is a good conversation with you. Look forward to many more. If you haven't, go check him out at the Berardo Podcast. Lots of good stuff on there. Lots of good content. Also, if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go check it out. Jason Manchester. I got do a lot of photography and videography. You can go check that stuff out. I also have links to my podcast and my website, where you can find my podcast. It's jason-manchester.com. Everybody stay safe out there, and peace.